Cranel found himself floating in the darkness. Nothing but the empty void of the cold space all around him. As he was slowly coming to his consciousness, he could feel something beneath his feet. He could only hope that it was the ground, although all he could see was the blankness of black. As he looked around to his surroundings, there was nothing around him, nothing at all. The vestige of a light shining in the distance. Although scared, not knowing where his next steps would land him, he walked towards the light that took form, the form of a human enveloped and made of light. "Who are you?" Belle would ask. "You know who I am. I have been with you from the very beginning. And now I am with you at the end." "At the end? The end of what?" "The end of everything." "I don't understand. What's going on? Why am I here? Why?" "That's not what's really on your mind, Belle. Don't lie to me. You may be able to lie to everyone else, but you cannot lie to me. I am truth. I see everything. I've known all of you, from the day that you were conceived in your mother's womb, to the day that you were birthed into the world, to the first breath of life that you had taken, all the way till now. I see everything, Belle Cranel. So tell me, what are you really thinking?" I've become unworthy," the voice would say. "Perhaps you have. The power of Thor has abandoned you and chosen a new champion. You feel weak, useless, pathetic, and perhaps that is what you are." Belle didn't bother to refute any of the statements that came his way. I always thought that I did the right thing. I always thought..." "What? You thought that because you were some sort of hero, that made you worthy? Is that really what you think, Belle? Do you know the truth about Thor? Truth about the gods? The truth is they are as valuable as man, and yet Thor proudly wielded his power. Tell me, what do you really know about Thor, the god of thunder? To many, they claim that he was a hero, a champion of the people, protector of the innocent, proprietor of peace. But you've heard the rumors. You've heard the stories of legend. Thor was nothing but a debaucherous drunk who gave to violent fixes and his own furies and his own vices. That is the legacy that you inherited. There is nothing that is special about you. You are not special because you wield Thor's power, but yet you try to make yourself believe that you are. Every day you put on this smile. You put on this facade of pretending to be something that you're not. You call yourself a hero, but you know the truth. You know that deep down you live nothing more but a lie. A lie, a beautiful lie that you tell yourself because you believe that you are worthy. You believe that through your good deeds, it will make you worthy. You believe that through your virtuousness, you believe that through your valor, it makes you worthy. But now that belief has been proven wrong. In your hour of need, the power betrays you. The hammer that you call out to, Mjolnir, does not hear your cries. And though your voice wails, though you howl in pain, Mjolnir cannot hear it. Why? Why can Mjolnir not hear you? What is it that you are lacking, Bel Cranel? I don't know. What do you mean? What do I lack? What do I lack? If you do not know what you lack, then why should I be the one to tell you? You should be able to figure that out for yourself. You are a hero, are you not? But I don't understand. What did I do wrong? Why? Why wasn't I? Why weren't you strong enough? That is a good question. A question that only you can answer. Bel thought about his fight with Hercules. He thought about how he said that there was more power to him, that there was so much more that he could have done, that there was so much untapped potential, that he was just barely scratching the surface. But Bel didn't feel that way. Throughout every adventure, throughout every trial and tribulation that he'd gone through, Bel was always giving it his best. He always thought and believed that he was doing the right thing. So why, in his moment of need, why wasn't he good enough? He couldn't summon Mjolnir to his side. Every time he tried to, just subconsciously, it wouldn't so much as twitch. It wouldn't reach him. It chose someone else. Now what was he? What was he without the hammer? The hammer that had gotten him through so many trial and tribulation. The hammer that was by his side when he traveled the multiverse, fought beside other legendary heroes from other worlds. He felt like there was nothing he couldn't do. He felt like he was truly the Argonaut of legend. He was truly the hero. He always suffered with believing whether or not he was worthy, and he was told that he was. Everyone tells him that he's worthy. Every time. Bel, you're doing such a good job. Bel, you've gotten so strong. Bel, you'll be just like Thor. Everyone had these expectations of what he could be, of what he should be. But was he really living up to those expectations? If he didn't know better, sometimes he swore that he saw a glint of shame in people's eyes. Almost as if, you're doing good, but are you really doing good enough? You've inherited the power of Thor. There should be so much more to you. Bel would never say it aloud, but sometimes he just found that to be irritating. Deep down, there was a part of Bel that despised that feeling. That feeling where people would look at him as if he wasn't good enough. There was a darkness in Bel's heart. A darkness that he kept buried deep down. But truthfully, it was a darkness that wanted to cry out more than anything. Who the hell did they think they were? What right did they have to question him? So what? So what if he wasn't using all the great power that the Thor possessed? Why did it matter? None of them could use it. Until now, he was the only one that could lift the hammer. And yet time and time again, he had to keep proving himself. Every person that challenged him about whether or not he was worthy of having Thor's power. Well, you the next Thor, Bel? Are you the next God of Thunder? What if I don't want to be? Another voice could be heard in Bel's mind. A figure made of darkness that stood opposite to the light. What if I don't want it? What if I don't want the power of Thor so damn badly? If I'm not good enough, if I'm not living up to everyone's expectations of me, everyone wants to question me. They question my worthiness 24/7. Why don't they try to lift the hammer? It's obvious that they have. the being of light said, as now it is in the hands of someone new. Well, good for him! Let him take on the power of Thor. Let him be the one to fight whatever great darkness or evil that there is in the world. He can have it, have all the responsibility and everything else that comes with it, because I don't give a damn. Is this how you truly feel? You know it's how I feel. You self-righteous bastard. The darkness crept to Bell. He could feel the hatred and the anger. You try so hard, don't you, little rookie? You try so hard to be something that you're not, to try to live up to something that you simply can't be. I'm sick of the goody two-shoes act. It's not who you really are. What? What is it? For all that talk, for all that bravado, Ryu, all the others, they're all counting on you, and you're gonna let them down, like you always let them down. Time and time again. It wasn't you that was doing any of this. It was that damn hammer. You think they cared about you? You think they're loyal to you? They're loyal to that power. That's all it is. That power is what makes them famous. It's their breadwinner. Your power is what makes them tolerate you. Take away the hammer, and what are you? Take away the protection of Thor, and what are you? You're nothing. You're nothing but a snot-nosed brat, stuck in a dungeon with no one to save you. Go crawl in a corner and die, you pathetic worm. By the time Bell awoken, Ryu had been the one shaking him fastly. He had taken some time to recover. Ryu treated his wounds. Beta Ray Bill was basically being their guard, helping them along the way. Because he had the power, he was the one in control. Of course, as he listened to Bell's story about how he gained the power of Thor, it left him even more perplexed. I don't know how exactly I got it, but all the same, I'm gonna use it to help you get to the surface. And then what? Ryu asked. I'm not sure. Xenos aren't technically welcomed up above. Perhaps staying back will be the best course of action. I promise I won't go far. If you can figure out a way to get your power back, that's fine by me. But at the very least, I could use it to help protect my people. At least for as long as I can. Ryu could see the worry on Bell's face. He looked so dejected, as if he had fallen into the greatest of despairs. Of course, she knew of that feeling of falling into the darkness. She remembered that when she was a part of the Estrella Familia, a familia that pioneered justice. Of course, it's easier said than done when you're the last one left standing. For Ryu, she could never forgive herself, being the only one to survive. The only one of the Estrella Familia to get away when Jura and his familia attacked them. When they summoned that monster, that damned monster. And then on top of that, he had to do something as dangerous as reawakening a lost destroyer that was set to make its way to the surface. One that could potentially destroy everything. Was this her fault? She was the one that chased them down into the dungeon. All for her petty revenge. In the end, perhaps this was to be expected. The price of her sin. Perhaps this was the curse that Anasi told her of. The curse that came with the power of his blessing. The power of the spider. It'll be all right, Bell, Ryu would say to him. I promise you, you'll make it back to the surface. You'll regain your strength. Bell said nothing. As they continued, they eventually found on the 37th floor a place known as the Colosseum, a part of a dungeon where monsters respawn 24/7 without let-up. It was said to be one of the more dangerous areas because it was effectively a gauntlet of monsters. It wasn't so much about how much power you had, it was about your endurance. Sure, you could take out a horde of monsters, maybe take out 2 hordes or 3, but what do you do when it turns to 4 and then 5? Every time you kill one, it respawns right in that same area ready for a fight. All the monsters that get killed from the 37th floor and ahead of it, they all come back here in some way, shape, form, or fashion. All of them ready for another fight. To get through to the Colosseum, it would require a bridge to move from one side to another. But even then, there were monsters moving about on the massive bridge. In order to get through, they were going to have to not draw attention to themselves. And even then, there was no guarantee of that working. For Ryu, she had already made up her mind about what she was going to do here. It was her fault that they were all stuck here to begin with. Bell and his party had no reason to get involved. They should have been back on the surface a long time ago. Of course, much to Beta Ray's dismay, Ryu made it very clear that if it came down to saving one of them, he was to save Bell. In her eyes, Bell was the most important, a person that she truly cared for, and someone she didn't want to see die. Even if he had lost faith in himself, she still believed. She believed that he could still be the hero that he was always meant to be. Before they passed, she took a moment to speak to him. Bell, I know that you have a lot on your mind at the moment. There's a lot that troubles you. I know that nothing I say, nothing I do can really change the feeling that you have right now. I want you to know that I have always believed in you. You show a fire and a tenacity that can't easily be matched. I don't care what anyone says or thinks. You are always worthy in my eyes. And that's why I'm confident you will succeed this day, because you have the blessing of the gods on your side. You have friends who love and care about you, and who only want the best for you. You put so much pressure on yourself. You try to bear the weight of the world and everyone else's hopes and dreams. Honestly, if I could think of only one flaw that you have, it's that you try to take everything on by yourself. You can share your burdens with others, your hopes, your dreams, and even your struggles. You don't have to take them all on alone. Just as you're ready to fight and defend your friends, they would also do the same for you, as would I. With that, they would make their way across the bridge. As they walked through the Colosseum, seeing as how they were halfway to the other side. So far, things were going as smoothly as they could. No one had noticed them yet. The monsters too busy fighting amongst themselves. That was until finally their luck seemingly ran out. The monster would turn and set their sights upon them, forcing all three to run. Beta Ray would try to stall, fighting off a wave of monsters, allowing for Ryu and Bell to get as far as they could. Ryu, using her imbued strength, would carry Belle on her back. As the monsters gave chase after her, she used the senses of the spider to avoid the swing of a skeleton monster wielding a sword, dodging at the last second before shooting out a web and using all of her strength to swing it around at the other group of monsters as they continued on the run. For Belle, he wanted to help. He wanted to do something, but he couldn't find the strength. He couldn't muster up the power to be able to do it. It left him. As Beta Ray and Ryu were trying to progress, Ryu would look to him. Take Belle and get out of here. Huh? I know what we talked about, but I don't want to just leave you. It'll be fine. You have more than enough strength. Once you're clear of this level, it should be easier to get to the surface. You have the know-how and the layouts of the dungeon better than anyone as a Xeno. If anyone's going to be capable of making it, I know it's you. You have the power of Thor on your side. I can use all of my strength if I focus on trying to slow them down. I've got more than enough ammo to do it, so don't worry about me. Wait, no. It's okay, Belle, Ryu said with a smile. I want to do this. It'll be okay. Belle looked on as Beta Ray pulled him by the collar. His torn and tattered clothing, ripping him up and throwing him on his shoulders as they ran. Belle's heart began to skip a beat as he watched in the distance. Ryu smiled to him a final time as she turned and set her eyes on the monsters. Looking into her satchel, she had 5 blaze rocks. She had enough strength to fight for a good amount of time. The way she saw it, she could bring as many of them together as she could, and she could take them out in one fiery blaze. Ryu would then engage with the monsters once again, fighting off against the hordes, the lizard men, the skeleton warriors, the wolf monsters, the arachnid monsters, the bug monsters, the earthworm monsters, all of them spawning over and over as she grabbed hold of a rusty, dull sword. She would shoot her webbing up to the roof of the Colosseum, lifting herself up long enough, moving from group to group, avoiding being encircled as she fought against them all alone. The strength of the spider coursed through her veins, adding to the strikes and the punches and the kicks. Her spider sense keeping her on guard, although her body worn and tired out, it barely gave her the strength and time to react. She could feel the toil that it was taking on her. Even with the blessing of Anasi, it wouldn't last long. She was going to fall. But that was all right. She was the one. This was all her fault. This would be her atonement. Of course, for Belle, as Beta Ray carried him away from the Colosseum, he kicked and scratched and clawed, biting down as hard as he could and cracking a tooth, before eventually Beta Ray would stop him. Look, kid, enough with the tantrums. You need to... I don't know. I'm not. I can't leave her there. You're in no condition to fight, kid. You'll just be a liability. You'll slow her down. And what? What am I supposed to do? I can't just let her die. I can't just... And what? What are you gonna do about it? You're weak. You have no strength left to fight. You have no reason to complain. Look, I don't normally play this card because it ain't the right thing to do, but you need to listen. You ain't in the position to argue. She made the choice, all right? Between the both of you, she believed that you were the one that needed to be saved. Personally, If I'm being entirely honest, I would have much preferred if she'd been the one to be saved. I don't believe in just leaving people behind, but in the worst case scenario, you were the one holding us back. I don't like saying it, but she made her choice, kid. And you're just gonna have to accept it. Right now, we need to get back to the surface as fast as possible. They're going to seal up the dungeon, hopefully to keep the destroyer from escaping, until they can figure out another way to take it down. Your friends are probably already up there waiting for you. The rescues are going to stop soon enough. You need to leave if you want to have any chance of figuring out how to get your power back. Any chance of figuring out how to go back to... Hey, wait! Belle was running right back. This newfound sense of strength, the pain, it was excruciating. Every time his foot connected to the ground, it felt like he was stepping on beds of broken glass. It felt like his very bones were being drilled through. It was horrible, but the pain let him feel that he was alive. There was a glow shining about through him. The voices in his head returned once again. You should stop while you're ahead, the voice of light said. Trying to prove yourself a hero will be futile. You'll only be dying a fool's death. Why are you getting involved? The voice of darkness said. You have nothing to offer her. You're nothing but dead weight. You're just slowing her down. You're a weakling. You're pathetic. Why do you keep trying to force yourself into places where you don't belong? You trying to make yourself feel better? Is that what you're trying to do? You think that you're a hero? Do you think you're worthy? Who in the hell do you think you are? It doesn't matter who I am, Belle said. Call me a hero, call me Thor, call me whatever the hell you want. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters right now is that Ryu is in trouble. She's my friend. I can't leave her behind to die like this. I don't care. I don't care about the power. I don't care about the hammer. It never mattered to me. As Belle raced back to the Coliseum, Ryu was surrounded. She was low on energy, and she knew that the next attack that came would be the end. Belle would yell out, causing the monsters to be distracted. They all went racing towards him. Ryu saw what was happening, and she became fearful. Why in the hell had he come back? Was he a damn fool? Belle, why are you... Belle's hand would begin to glow as he charged a lightning bolt and shot it directly at the horde of monsters. Looking down on the ground, he saw it. It was a warhammer. It wasn't as big as Mjolnir, but it was the one weapon he could grab at that moment. As he picked it up, he launched another lightning bolt, smashing and hacking away at the monsters one by one. By the time Beta Ray Bill arrived, he saw for himself. Belle was fighting like a madman, until eventually he got to Ryu. Get down! Ryu saw what was in his hands and she immediately ducked. It was a small blaze rock. He threw it directly at the group of monsters behind her before shooting off another lightning bolt. But why? How was he doing this? In that moment, the only thing that mattered to him was saving his friend. It didn't matter if he was worthy or not. The power, none of that. Whether or not he was worthy, it didn't change what he wanted, what he needed to do. That was the only thing that mattered to him, his only concern. I'll keep fighting. I'll fight even until I lose my legs. I'll fight if I lose my arms. If I have my voice, I'll scream out and bite until my teeth rot. It doesn't matter. I'll find a way. Until my heart stops beating. Until the blood stops pumping through my veins. Until I am defeated and have nothing left to give. As long as I'm alive, I can keep fighting. Because I am Bel Cranel. And I will be a hero. Argo Vesta. Lightning Volt. Bel would shoot the strongest lightning bolt that he could. But instead of the lightning bolt shooting towards his enemies, the lightning enveloped his entire body. An aura of light forming around him. The broken warhammer that he held in his hand began to morph and change. It was Mjolnir. So, Mjolnir finally heard his voice. Took you long enough, you damn brat. Of course, Beta Ray Bill wasn't going to be lost on the action either. He still had Stormbreaker in his hands. Bel didn't know why, but now wasn't the time to question it. Questions didn't even matter. The three would work together to fight out of the Colosseum, fighting off against all of the monsters. As they finally managed to escape. At first, Ryu was angry, beyond angry. Why would he do something so... All she could do was wrap her arms around him and hug him close. You are a foolish boy. I'm sorry, Miss Ryu. But I just couldn't let you die. You dummy. You big dummy. Touching moment, really, Beta Ray would say. I'll give you guys time to rest. I'll stand watch. But I get some rest. A little off in the distance, they found another section of the dungeon that had water and a place for them to make a cave. While Beta Ray was on watch, the two would get warm, being rather close to one another and trying to huddle up as they took time to finally rest after being weary from all of that battle. Before long, as they made their way, they would eventually find the 30th floor. And surprisingly enough, they're friends. Lily? Master Bel! You're okay! Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Just had to show off, huh? So, where'd you get all the scars? Welf said as he hugged his friend. All of Bel's comrades, all of his friends were safe. And they were all happy to see Bel and Ryu. Of course, they were surprised to see Beta Ray Bill, and even more so to see that he was carrying Stormbreaker. What the hell happened, Bel? Welf would ask. I'll explain later. Right now, we need to get up to the surface as fast as possible. I agree, Azari would say. Who are you? I am Azari T'Challa. I am the leader of the Bast Familia, and I am the Black Panther. Nice to finally make your acquaintance, Bel Cranel. He reached out his hand to Bel, and Bell reached out his hand in kind. You helped my friends. I'm grateful, and I owe you. Think nothing of it. My goddess sent us on the head. It was at the request of your god, Hestia. She truly cares for you all. But now we must turn our attention to the main problem at hand. The Destroyer. Yeah, we need to get the hell out of here as fast as possible, Welf said. They're gonna seal up the dungeons, Bell. Seal it up? It's the only thing they can do. We've been getting some words from the other talking Xenos. Lily would explain. The woman known as the Enchantress. She's not just enchanted the Destroyer. She's enchanting other monsters that they meet along the way. She's building an army. She's gonna sink them on the whole city. What are the gods doing? Bell would ask. Some have began evacuations. All level 4 class heroes are staying back in preparation for a fight, assuming the barrier holds. We can cut her off at the pass, though, Beta Ray would say. Cut her off? Before she can even reach the first floor. She's gonna have to go through each level one at a time. Thankfully, I know ways of getting through the levels faster. Judging on the time period that we have to work with, we can cut her off at this passing point, the 6th floor. The 6th floor? That'll be our best case scenario. If she's moving at a pace that you all said she was, this'll be our best chance to cut her off. Guys, Bell would say, I really hate to ask this of you, but save it, Wolf would say. We're not letting you fight that crazy witch and her monster on your own. You're gonna have help. All of us. Everyone was in agreement. Bell simply smiled. I'm grateful for you. All of you. I couldn't do this without your help. We're going to cut her off. We're going to beat and destroy the Destroyer. We won't let her reach the city. Everyone was in agreement of the plan. Even Aisha agreed to it. You better hope that they compensate us for this, little rookie, she said with a smile. All right then, Beta Ray, Welf said. I'll be happy to be working with you. Lead the way. You got some strange friends, Bell, but they're loyal ones, so I can get down with that. All right, everyone, gather what you need for a fight and follow me. Let's all dive into hell together. And with that, the party would set off. All of them united as one, fighting for one common goal, the saving of their city, to defeat the Destroyer by any means necessary. This concludes Danmachi, The Last King, What If Bell Cranel Was Thor, Season 4, Part 8. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we're going to be continuing with Danmachi, The Last King, What If Bell Cranel Was Thor, Season 4, Part 9. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.